Star Citizen 1.0 is coming, and with it comes 5 systems when it's released. But you might be wondering what systems will be added. Well, I'm about to tell you which 3 other systems will be included in the beta when it's released alongside Stanton and Pyro. But first I want to mention you should take this with a grain of salt, as this beta release is an internal goal for CIG set for Q4 2025. And as we all know, CIG is not always great with deadlines. So temper your expectations and strap in as we explore what the future could look like when Star Citizen transitions to its beta phase. And if you end up enjoying this video and think I did a good job, let me know by hitting the like button. On this channel, we've talked about pretty massive changes coming in the future, from base building to missing features to improve the quality of life, and many other features that enhance the overall experience. However, since the release of recent interviews with developers within CIG, information was released that talks about what their goals are for the next 2 years. In this video, we'll dive into what 3 other systems we can expect if all goes right, including a system that is familiar to some of us by traveling back in time to one of the coolest locations was added to the game in 3.0. The Nyx system, a mesmerizing spectacle of celestial bodies, is home to 3 planets and 2 asteroid belts, all dancing in orbit around a radiant yellow-white dwarf. And the first system I believe will be added. But hold on to your seats because the true marvel of the Nyx system is yet to come. There are a total of 7 jump points scattered around the system, ready to catapult all of us into the unknown. Nyx 1 is a coreless rock that's been mined clean over its first couple hundred years of being discovered, which offers little value to anyone aside from some abandoned mining facilities. Nyx 2 is a lifeless planet shrouded in dense, corrosive clouds of acid and carbon dioxide that makes any venture to the planet more difficult. This may be a location that offers very valuable minerals that could be offset by the level of risk that will make mining more difficult than most. The Glacium Ring is a dense asteroid field where many outlaws operate bases, making it an incredibly dangerous area. Within the ring is Delamar, a large asteroid where anti-government groups have taken over a mining facility that formed a community called the People's Alliance, and they named their settlement Levski. Nyx 3 is an ice giant filled with ammonia and water vapor, surrounded by high winds and preventing miners from braving the danger of mining water and other valuables. The Keegar Belt makes up the last area within the system with significantly fewer asteroids populated throughout the ring due to its distance from the sun. There are believed to be criminal strongholds littered throughout the belt. Now, as you probably already asked, why will Nyx be next? There have been a lot of rumors and brief mentions of Nyx over the last 3 years that this system has been completed, and a lot of the landing zone work was already done back when they added Levski in Alpha 3.0. Back in the day, Levski was the most incredible landing zones we had, as it showcased early beginnings with its sprawling network of caves, making the landing zone feel larger than the locations we had at the time. Many players within the community were saddened when this location was removed in 2021, leaving a void in its place. As early as 3.17, data miners have found numerous references to Nyx in the data files, and I believe this system is probably one of the easier ones for CIG to add. However, Nyx and Pyro being added to the game will require static server meshing to be added, and these 2 are connected via a jump point, which is why I believe this system will be next after Pyro. It's possible that CIG could wait until the game goes to beta to add Nyx to the game, but I believe that would be a missed opportunity to capitalize on the massive influx of players and people excited for the game upon the release of Pyro. And I hope that they release it as soon as possible if Nyx is indeed completed. This system could offer us a ton of gameplay and keep a lot of players busy until 1.0 is released, given how long we've kept ourselves busy with less development. What do you think will be different with Nyx being added? Leave me a comment below. And if you want to see more of these types of videos, consider subscribing so you don't miss out on all the amazing content coming in the future. Magnus is a solitary star system at the heart of one of the busiest jump point travel routes that has a ton of ships passing through it with valuable goods being transferred between Sol and Terra. And at the center of that system lies an orange dwarf. 3 planets encircle this central star, and the system itself is accessible through 3 jump points. But why would Magnus be the next system, you ask? We'll get to that in a moment, but let's discuss the details of Magnus. Magnus 1 was previously a hot Jupiter that has been since stripped down to a rocky planet with no atmosphere. This could be a great planet to potentially find a lot of valuable material on when we're given the chance to explore it. Magnus 2, also known as Borea, is a temperate planet known for being a landmark and terraforming success. This habitable planet is home to Drake Industries based on the surface of Odessa. Magnus 3 is a super Jupiter gas giant that is the final planet in the system and is known for a lot of pirate activity occurring around the planet. Now try saying super Jupiter gas giant twice as quick. Magnus could be a truly crucial system given that it is the heart of two of the most important systems of humanity, with freighters delivering goods, pirates constantly venturing to it in the hopes of raiding ships, and the many settlers attempting to make a new life for themselves. But why would Magnus be next? Well, first off, this system would be a pretty interesting balance to witness between the more strict security in Stanton and the lawless and chaotic system of Pyro. And my thoughts primarily surrounding why heavily focuses on the fact that we have a jump point to Magnus within Stanton, and these two systems have a jump point to the last and final system on the list. This system would enable players to witness a lot of the military's progress on the planet of Borea by offering locations such as the large naval base that stood for over a century and allows us to see what happens when the military abandons a base and colonials take over, as they did in Odessa, where Drake Industries builds their ships. And many gangs and squatters have created extremely dangerous areas within the city. Little is known about Newcastle, the capital of Borea, but according to the lore it's been listed as off-limits due to a recent attack. What kind of gameplay do you think Magnus could bring to the game? Let me know in the comments. But what is the last system? We'll get to that as well, but first I want to talk about the honorable mentions that I believe could have been added, but ultimately didn't make it on the list, as I believe these other systems aren't as likely as the three that made it. Odin has already been completed within Squadron 42, as we've all been told, which overall looks amazing. Still, it didn't make it to the list because CIG will more than likely need to do more work to make it ready for Star Citizen, such as adding missions, other locations for exploring, and much more. While it would be incredible to fly through the coil, a lot of this area will more than likely not be ready for us to get our hands on until much later. Castra is another system that I thought could have been added, but ultimately didn't make it on the list because of the few locations and planets that are in the system. And while it does have jump points to Pyro and Nyx, providing a loop that goes between all three systems, I didn't believe that it offers enough to have CIG add it over other systems. I do believe these two systems will be among the first 10 systems to be added to the game, however. Ellis is the home of the Murray Cup, the most famous racing event in Star Citizen, and the third honorable mention I thought might have been one of the first 5 systems. But as it is over 4 times larger in scale than Stanton, and has 13 planets along with many more locations spread out over 101 AU, I removed it from the list as I think that this system would be too daunting of a task for CIG to focus on, and while this would be a really amazing and massive system, I don't believe that it would have made it in time. Tyrannus is one of those locations I have dreamed about since I first saw it when Arena Commander first launched and showed us the asteroid field above Tyrannus 2 in the map Broken Moon. It has some fascinating planets and locations throughout the system and also shows us a world being actively terraformed. But as this system is only connected to Terra via a small jump point and 3 other jump points to other systems, I felt as if it didn't quite meet the criteria that I think CIG would have had to deliver it to players. Terra is the 5th and final planetary system that I believe will be added to Star Citizen 1.0 upon its release, and with it, one of the largest additions to the game besides Pyro. This system will be a very stark comparison when compared to Pyro, as it is the central hub of the Empire and has 4 planets, 3 of which are inhabited. There are also 2 asteroid belts, 5 moons, and 7 jump points. Arrow is a mesoplanet that offers a wealth of mineral deposits that aren't easily accessible due to the planet's harsh climate, and has 2 moons in its orbit. Pike is a heavily industrial planet used for resources throughout the system, with thousands of mining operations running all over the surface, and has a tidally locked moon, heavily scarred by asteroid impacts. I could see Pike as being a great location to allow players to go on foot and mine by hand, or use ground vehicles, and maybe even work for a company as part of the labor force. Terra is easily one of the most anticipated planets in all of Star Citizen, with its tropical climate, towering skyscrapers, lush beaches, and 3 landing zones such as Prime, Quasi, and New Austin. Terra also offers 6 other major locations on the surface, a close orbiting moon called Ida that creates more extreme tides than on Earth. Did someone say that they were going to add surfing to the game? Hell yeah. And finally, it has 3 space stations in orbit. Gen, Terra's sister planet, is a central hub for the UE military and major political groups responsible for overseeing diplomatic missions and military deployments for Terra and surrounding systems. Finally, there is the Marisol Belt and the Henge Cluster, which are asteroid fields that offer mining opportunities for many different corporations in the system. So why would Terra be part of the first 5 systems in Star Citizen though? Terra has a ton of potential to be a gateway and a central hub for players to travel from system to system as they pursue every citizen's dream of fame and fortune. It gives them a massive landing zone that allows players to buy and sell goods that are in high demand, sightsee new architecture that differs from Stanton, mine valuable minerals, and give new or casual players a safe environment where the military provides a lot of security, giving them a great introduction to the game in many ways and also offering plenty more for law-abiding veteran players. Terra also offers 3 jump points that connect to Stanton, Magnus, and Pyro, and 4 other jump points that CIG can expand on in the future. This system would require the most work for it to be added, and we've seen multiple leaks and official videos that showcase the work being done for Terra. While some of this work could have been scrapped at any point, it may have made it easier to implement by using similar assets that may have been converted to the new engine. Of course, this is me speculating, and I am not by any means a game developer, so don't take that as fact. Hopefully we will see information or a sneak peek on some of the locations that they're working on, and they're not just keeping it close to their chest to prevent further leaks. But the question remains, will CIG be able to hit their internal goals they set for themselves and be able to release these other systems alongside Stanton and Pyro in the 4th quarter of 2025? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with my list? And if not, what systems do you think are more likely and why? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future videos. And if you're curious to find some of the lesser known features that would improve the quality of life in the game, then you'll want to check out this video. As always, I hope that you all have a great week, and I will see you in the next video. Havoc out.